This video is a segment from the Telecast. Check the description for the full episode. What is this? So Diddy got 50 months. He got acquitted of all of the really bad charges. Where is it? I have it written in here. So he was charged with 2 convictions related to the transportation of individuals across state lines for prostitution. So you can't... prostitution is legal in some places in the United States. It might just be Nevada. I really don't know. But he engaged in moving those people across state lines for prostitution, I guess, or moving. Maybe it doesn't have to do with where it's legal, but he transported people over state lines to pay them to do sexual acts, which is illegal and can land you in jail. He got a $500,000 fine. What I don't understand, 2 convictions, right, related to transportation of individuals. It must have been a lot of individuals if he's getting $500,000 or $500,000 fine for this. He was acquitted of any racketeering or sex trafficking or conspiracy charges, which just sucks because we all know he did it. And another thing that's worth noting that I have written down here is that he was credited 13 months because he's been in jail since September of 2024. So he basically gets a jump start on his sentence. Listen, guys, his lawyers are going crazy. They're like, we don't want this guy. Like, we don't want this guy to have a regular prison sentence. We want to put him somewhere like safer because they know he's going to get whacked. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. The Epstein of the music industry, right? Like this guy, I mean, the thing is, you can say, oh, whatever, like, everybody knows that he did it. And then but we don't know for sure. But like, this is a case where like all signs kind of point to him being guilty of everything that he's, suspected of being guilty of. But he got acquitted because the legal system kind of sucks. And this is another thing that I was thinking about when I was saying, oh, let's talk about Diddy on the podcast for a little bit, right? It's a current event. A lot of people from all over, like you don't even have to be super informed on pop culture or even know anything about pop music or music in general to have heard about this story because it's crazy. Let's see, where was I going with that? So he spent a lot of money to get lawyers to help acquit him of these charges. And it kind of sucks that that's the way things work because it's great that if you're smart enough or a hard worker enough, you can gain the legal skills to get basically anybody out of trouble, or you can pay, you've worked hard or whatever, and you made all this money and you can do all this stuff. That's the opportunity that they talk about. But on the other side of it, you can basically play the entire game. It kind of sucks because the more far along you get in the game, the better you get at playing it. And with all these laws and things, I mean, it's all just about loopholes. And, you can exploit a loophole or a lack of regulation or something for a good amount of time before, the government puts the kibosh on it because they actually need to be made aware of it. And then it needs to work its way up the docket to actually be something they care about. So any of these exploitive, strategies or things that can get people out of charges like this, which one of the big things is just having a lot of money. It really sucks. I think I remember reading somewhere that back in the day, they used to like have, I don't know, basically they would have like a Town of Salem style procedure where you would just vote people that everybody was like, no, like you get bullied out of the society or excommunicated because you're just a jerk or people don't like you. I think it speaks to the importance of being able to get along with people. I don't like being pushed around or being told that I'm wrong about things, but when it comes down to it, you got to know your place, you got to play your role, and you got to respect other people. If you're playing a team sport like football or whatever, don't be a ball hog and like just take it and like neglect your teammates because you need their help. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to be somebody like Diddy who does all this kind of stuff, he's basically kicked out of society. But he'll slowly ease his way back in like they all do, where, and this is a very cynical take. I don't want people to come out of this with a negative feeling because there are a lot of good things in the world, especially if you look closer to your like interpersonal circle. But I don't know. It's kind of sucks that we can't just forcibly make a decision to push him out. He has to kind of, serve his little head down, sad little sentence in prison. And then he gets out, just kind of lays low, and 15 years, people kind of forget. This also kind of speaks to another aspect of human history that I've kind of been thinking about, where, the generations go by and, if you never ask your grandparents what it was truly like to live in the time that they did, that's just like lost knowledge. And that you have to have a really curious younger generation of people and a really good at explaining older generation of people. This is why I think it's important to make art and to, to try to pass on knowledge and wisdom in ways that aren't just like, textbooks or whatever. But my point is that in a generation or two, there's so much that gets forgotten about the way things, are. The whole history is told by the victors is a very like easy way to sum up that whole thing. But it's a little deeper than that. It's just the fact that like, people just, I don't know, as the generations go by, there's just a lot that gets left, up for debate. I think I heard Isaac Asimov say that, science and math are for sure. History is just out the window. It's all just up in the air opinions. And I guess that's why some people choose not to look into history. But I think it's cool because I like to try and figure out some semblance of what it was like, because it's next to impossible, especially when we have like world-ending events and libraries burning down and people forcibly trying to change history, manipulate the education system or whatever. I don't know. But I don't know. Just have a good family, man. That's the importance of a family. And that's my little spiel on that for the day.